Ludwig van Beethoven wrote the most famous four notes in all of music. Da 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 da! Everybody knows those four notes that begin his Fifth Symphony. But he wrote 9 symphonies. In November, we're going to be playing his Seventh Symphony, and it happens to be one of my most favorite of all of Beethoven's works. It is a piece that features a lot of very rhythmical elements, which is to say that it feels like a 40-minute long dance party. The first movement bounces along with exuberant energy. The third movement, even more so. There's a kind of manic quality to that music. And above all, it reaches its climax in the last movement, which is a whirlwind of musical activity. It's a real athletic feat, so much so that I think by the end of it, I usually collapse in a bit of a sweaty heap. It's like a really good workout for everybody on stage. I very much enjoyed pairing John Adams' music with Beethoven's. There's something that they share in common, and that is the idea of the music being driven by rhythm. They approach it in different kinds of ways, but I do feel that that's one trait that they have in common. There's a rhythmical spark that generates so much of the material, and while you'd never mistake one for the other, I think if you listen closely, you can find that common ground spanning 200 years of development. John Adams is one of America's most distinguished composers, perhaps in many people's estimation, our most distinguished living composer. Chairman Dances of John Adams is inspired by an opera he wrote called Nixon in China, which is all about that historical visit that Nixon paid to Chairman Mao in 1973. And it takes as its cue a kind of a fantasy that after a presidential banquet, there's a portrait of Mao on the wall, and he comes alive from that portrait, steps down, and takes his wife, and they begin to do a foxtrot together like they did back in their youth. So it is a dance of sorts, and it's an example of John Adams's early minimalist style, in which you get the idea that rhythmical patterns or grooves are repeated and gradually change their nature over time. So it's kind of looking from an airplane at 38,000 feet and seeing the landscape evolve. You realize that it's changing very gradually, but it's different from what it was 2 minutes ago or even 30 seconds ago. So the Chairman Dances is a good example of that kind of rhythmically driven style.